Come on in here. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Come on in here. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Yep, yep, yep. Come on in here. Why can't I see it? Am I not live? I am not. Go. Come on in here. I don't know where my stand is. Guess we just have to prop up today. Mm, mm, Don't do me like that. Don't do me like that. Good morning, good morning. It's Friday. I know some of y'all mad because them kids ain't going to school. But come on in here. Come on in here. Real quick one time. Come on in the room. Once you get in here, comment, like, share, tell a friend, tag a friend. Tell a friend, tag a friend. I'm gonna give it a couple more seconds and I'm gonna get started because I'm already late. But we're here. It's Friday and we are here. Good morning. Don't be weird. Gonna press the video, come into the room, and say hi. Don't be a sneak watcher. All right, let's get started. All right. First off, it's Friday, February the 3rd, and we are embarking upon one of the greatest days in history. Um, and you wonder what that day is. That day is February the 4th, the day where our king was born. I. No, for real. Tomorrow's my birthday, so um, I might go live on my birthday. I don't know, but I wanted to talk to y'all this morning about something um, very, 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 very important, very special, and this is that after all of your getting, after all of your going, after all of your doing, after all of your being present and available and doing all these things for everybody else. Good morning, Shamel. After doing all those things, I'm gonna tell you something.
It's Diane. I got
Um, Hold on 1 second. I got some people that want to interrupt me up today. But we're gonna talk about what about you?
Girl, you still hanging in there? Your love.
Some visitors. Hey, mom.
So what if they do that?
So we're talking about what about you? And so what about you? After you've done everything for everybody else, what about you? Have you taken some time for you? You can't forget to take time for you. I know you're strong. I know everybody counts on you to be strong, but you have to um, you have to take some time for you. Make sure that you're taking time for you because you can't afford to stay strong all the time. So you got to take some time. And when you're taking that time, make sure that you're taking that time to refuel, regroup, reset, recover. Make sure that you're doing that because in order for you to be present for everybody else, in order for you to show up for everybody else, you have to have that moments and times where you do that for yourself. So make sure you refuel, make sure you regroup, make sure you reset, make sure you recover. Take that time. You can give out a lot, and that's cool. But if you're not putting fuel back in the tank, if you're not recovering, if you're not regrouping, if you're not resetting, then you're going to show up less and less of yourself. You're going to show up on E. You're going to show up on about E. You're going to show up on fumes. And everybody has had an experience. If you haven't, thank God. But everybody's had the experience where they run out of gas. Whether it be in sports where you ran out of gas, whether it be literally in the car you ran out of gas. I remember I ran out of gas in the car, and man, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. But that's because wasn't prepared, trying to get to the next spot, wasn't thinking about that tank, but ran out of gas. But it's not fun because it ultimately stops you from doing what you need to do. It inhibits your acceleration and your drive to wherever you're going. So don't run out of gas. Make sure that you consider the question, what about you? Make sure that you're doing that. I've learned that over the years that you have to take that time for you. You have to, because um, when you um, don't take that time for you, it puts you in a space where you get frustrated, more irritable. Um, just don't want to deal with people like you used to because you're running on fumes, and then you're not getting that reciprocated back to you. So um, you don't depend. I know you want to depend, and you should be able to depend on others to um, pour back in and give you what you need, and do that for you as you've given out and done for them. But it's not going to be that all the time. So you got to make sure you're taking time for you. You do that for you. Make sure that you do it for you. Guess what, y'all? This whole year, me time has been approved. Take some time just for you, so that you can clear your mind. You can get to the point where you can go back out there. You can get back in the fight, even when fighters are in a fight. You know, and they have rounds. In between rounds, they get a rest period where they get to go sit, talk, sit on the stool. They get to regroup. They get to hear from their team and say, you can do this a little better. You can do that a little better, and then they get to go back out there and fight. Well, where's that time where you get to sit on the stool and regroup and say, you can do this a little better. We don't need to do that no more. That's not working. Where's that time where you assess the situation, assess where you really are, assess your values, assess your productivity, assess your metrics, find out where you're making the mark and missing the mark? Where's that time at for you, so that you can get back out there in the fight? I want to encourage you to start doing that, because it's important. Because if you do not do that, what happens is you'll go out there in the fight, and now the other person or the opposition or what you're going up against has had the time to reset, regroup, and refuel, and then you're out there still on the last month's strength and the last situation strength, and you can't afford to do that. You got to show up in every situation. Good morning, cousin. You got to show up in every situation, being the top of your game. And the only way you can ensure that you're at the top of the game is you got to take the time for you to refuel, regroup, reset, and recover. All this year, periodically through the year, you need to make sure that you take the time to reset, refuel, regroup, and recover. Don't just go out there thinking that you can be as strong as you can be month after month, day after day, year after year, and not take that time for you. What will it be? What would it benefit when you're showing up half of you? It doesn't do anything. And then if you showing up for them as half for you, by the time you really get to you, I think I talked about this earlier last month or something like that. By the time you get for you, you ain't gonna have no fuel in the tank. And so we get home and we get frustrated. We've given our job all of our time. We've given all these other situations all of our time. And by the time it gets to us, we don't have anything for us. And then, like I said, and then especially if you're counting for somebody else to give that to you, and they may not be aware of the fact that you need this at this moment, so you can't count on that. And you should be able to count on it. I'm not saying that it's not right. I mean, I'm not saying that it is right. Um, If you are giving out and you're doing for others, it should be reciprocated. Those situations where it's not reciprocated are situations of use, and you're being used in those situations. But you can't afford to keep doing that time and time again and not have something left for you, and then wonder why you're frustrated, irritable, and all those things. So take the time for you. It's been approved. It's been approved. Don't let nobody tell you differently. Me time has been approved. It's been approved. It's been times, it was times, um, I'm always making biblical references because that's in me. But there was times Jesus had to go and by himself and pray and recover. And the Bible says that God sent ministering angels to minister to him, to strengthen him. He had to recover. He had to regroup, and he's the one that we're supposed to mark, the perfect man we're supposed to mark. So if he had to regroup, if he had to take time off, you got to do the same thing. You got to make sure that you get that time in to put back in. Whatever you use to refuel, you got to continue to use that. Whatever you use to reset and recover, and just take that time. Sometimes you just need time just to do nothing, um, because you're always on the go. You're always doing something for somebody else. So take that time for yourself. I just wanted to drop that in y'all system and the spirit for this morning, because most times when we're giving out and everybody's counting on the strong ones to be strong, they never count on you to. They don't feel like you ever have a weak day. But as a strong individual, a person that can take a lot, myself, um, I know I have to still take time for me. I know I have to still take time to reset and refuel and regroup, and that only takes place when I separate myself from the situation or the responsibilities for a moment, and I get to me, and I do the necessary steps to do the refueling. I do the refueling by having a steady prayer life. I do the refueling by keeping myself abreast with all kind of different things that help me. As far as like I told you yesterday, I go to YouTube University. I learn about anything I want to learn about. I read my books that I have concerns about in areas. I read books on it, trying to get myself back recovered and ready to handle whatever's next. And that's important for you. That was important for everybody else. It's always important. If you don't do anything else, take that time. Take that time to refuel. Take that time to regroup. You're only as good as the fuel that's in your tank. And if you don't have any in there, how good are you? Don't be a menace to society because you running on E. And now everything is here. Everything gets on your nerves. Everything is this and everything is that. I was learning that. I had a situation where was in that situation. Just to give you a quick, um, just I don't even want to call it testimony because I didn't do anything good, but I noticed where I was going wrong. Um, but what happened was I was in a situation, and the situation had it ran over. It ran over at work. It ran over in my personal life. And I had noticed that when my son was coming to me, I was being very irritable. And that's because I was running on E, and I was allowing the situation that I was going through to drain all of my energy, to drain all of my patience that I would normally have. I was allowing that situation to do that without going back and recovering, without going back and resetting, without going back and regrouping. And what that did was that I went into the next situation with that same baggage from the old situation because I didn't reset. I didn't regroup. I didn't recover. You can't afford to do that. You got people around you that love you, and they shouldn't have to experience the bitter, irritable, impatient person. They shouldn't have to see that of you. And the only reason why they're seeing that is because those situations that are draining you, you have not gone and recovered from them. You've not gone and reset it from them. You've not gone and regrouped or refueled. And so you're showing up irritable. You're showing up, and nobody needs to see you like that. That's not your best self. And it doesn't do anything for anybody around you, and it doesn't profit you any either. Because you're most likely having to uh, pay for that later on, or having to go back and apologize. I had to go back and apologize to my son. I said, "I'm sorry. That ain't the daddy you want. That ain't the daddy I should have been. But it was because of those situations had kind of drained me of the patience and the energy I once would have. And so when you notice that you're irritable and you notice, or somebody points it out to you, it's not a point for you to get upset or mad about. It's not a point for you to feel like, hey, this is that or that's this. No, no, no. It's a point to really assess the situation because they can see it. They can see it. Most times, the people around you that know you, they can see when you. I have friends tell me, I don't like you like that. I don't know what's going on. But I don't like you in that situation. And it's because, those situations don't pull out the best, especially when you're running on E. So don't do yourself a favor. Take the time for you. Me time has been approved. Go ahead and refuel, regroup, reset, recover. I hope this blessed you. If it did, share with somebody else. Mail to bless somebody else. Somebody else you might need to just send it to that has been running on E and been irritable or impatient. You might need to send it. It's no slap in the face, but it's an opportunity for you to grow and an opportunity for you to get better by going ahead and taking that time for you. Hope it bless you. Have a most amazing morning. Like I told y'all, tomorrow's the biggest day in America's history, day where Christopher Callum was born. So thank everybody for the birthday wishes that did it on a post about a week ago or 2 weeks ago. But my birthday is actually tomorrow. So y'all be blessed. Have a great day, and I'll talk to y'all Monday if I don't come live tomorrow. But I might come live. But I'll see. All right, y'all. Bye.